You know when you sometimes see a product that it just feels like it was made just for you? Well, that's kind of what this here is. And that's how you tease your opinion at the start of a YouTube video, folks. This right here is the OneXPlayer OneXGPU2. Yes, I know that's a lot of numbers. It is an external graphics card that is a bit different from the likes of, say, the Euros boxes, like the new 5091 we covered at Computex recently. This one is different in the fact that it's a bit more portable, as you can probably already tell by the size, because there's no way they're fitting a desktop graphics card in just this package. Instead, this right here uses a mobile GPU, the Radeon RX 7800M to be specific. And no, I wouldn't blame you for never hearing about it. In fact, this right here from this random company appears to be the only thing that actually uses this chip. Like nothing else, not even any laptops appear to be using it. This is a 12 gig card with 60 CUs that can turbo to around 2145 MHz according to AMD's own specs. And there it is, just like that. Obviously, the biggest selling point is just the fact that this is something you can actually put in your bag, put in your backpack or whatever, and have a pretty good GPU accelerated experience, be it in gaming or in any kind of, say, video editing, which is what I'll be mostly using it for because editing on my laptop has been a pain. And if we just quickly weigh it, we're gonna see that it is around 1.6 kilos. So odds are it's gonna weigh about the same or maybe just a bit more than your laptop. Okay, what else do we have in here? We have some instructions, which I can't be bothered to read. We have the charger itself right here, because it is gonna require quite a beefy power brick. Dear holy, I did not expect it to be that big. So that's gonna be a bit of a pain to carry around. And then we also have below that what I assume to be a USB cable to actually connect it up. Speaking of, you can connect it one of two ways, either via USB 4 or the preferred method would be to use Oculink. Even though it's been around for ages now, the thing is that pretty much nothing uses it. They did send over an Oculink cable as well. It basically just looks like this, kind of like a squished DisplayPort essentially. And without getting too technical about what makes Oculink so cool, the fact is that this right here has a maximum bandwidth of around 64 gigabits per second, while USB 4 only 40. And from the testing that others have been already doing online, it looks like that can impact performance a bit. However, the issue is that just like nothing uses Oculink, so odds are you're going to be using this instead. We should also turn it around and look at I/O, because it's not just about being an external GPU, it's also about being a general hub for you to plug in literally anything you want. So you have gigabit Ethernet, 2 USB Type A, an SD card slot, 2 DisplayPort, 1 HDMI, the Oculink port we talked about earlier, and also the USB Type C, which if you'll be connecting via that instead. However, there's one more thing that the OneXGPU2 has up its sleeve, and that's this right here, this magnetic little plate that when you take off, look at that. Yep, you can even add some storage in here as well, so when you plug it into your system, you can also access that as well. To show you exactly why I need this thing, let's do a quick benchmark of Rainbow Six Siege. So this is at very high settings. This screen has a resolution of 3200 by 2000, and I've applied ultra quality FSR2 just to give it a fighting chance. And as you can see, it is already severely struggling. And it's not just about gaming, given how not only editing, but then also exporting on this thing during shows like Computex or CES or anything else we attend has been painful so far. Not to mention the fact that this thing has like no I/O, so you have what, a SD card slot here, USB Type A here, then 2 USB-C plus audio jack. So all of that additional I/O is also going to help, and also this is hilarious. It is so slow, the performance results don't even want to load. Either that or they're just non-existent. But as you saw, it was probably in the single-digit FPS range. So now let's see exactly if the OneXGPU2 is able to salvage that somehow. Okay, all we have to do is just connect up the power, connect up the USB or Oculink. Then we just have to get the drivers for this mysterious GPU that only they have access to from AMD's website. And with the AMD drivers installed, we can get back into the game, and already just the main menu is running so much smoother. You can probably also hear the thing ramping up quite a bit. Like, it certainly ain't quiet, but it's not the worst thing in the world either. This right here, this button with a lightning bolt, that is turbo mode, and once it's engaged, it should be boosting our clocks even further and making it even louder. So let's just go and see if we can actually get any kind of results numbers this time. already you can see how much smoother it is, but let's get some precise numbers. Again, it's not like we have anything to compare them to because it refused to even give us any performance numbers last time. There we go, at again a resolution that is almost 4K. I mean, that definitely ain't half bad. Now, you may have also noticed I switched over to using my mouse. That is because with this thing plugged in, for some reason the trackpad doesn't work anymore. That is very, very weird behavior. I have no idea what could be causing that. I need to investigate that a bit more. So that all seems pretty good, right? You get pretty decent GPU acceleration in a nice portable package. But even if it doesn't give us the fastest performance in gaming, again, that's not why I got this thing. I got it for video editing. As you can see, it took over 7 minutes to render this video right here from Noctua. That is 2 minutes and 6 seconds long. So now with the exact same settings, let's see exactly how long it's gonna take when it's rendering on this thing right here. And now with the external GPU, it went from completing it in 7 minutes and 13 seconds to 4 minutes and 37 seconds. And again, that's just exporting. And sure, then it will be probably nicer to go with NVIDIA graphics card, given how DaVinci Resolve has quite a few features that are specifically designed around NVIDIA GPUs. However, the issue is that no one really makes anything like this right here, but with a Team Green chip inside. I mean, sure, you do have Asus ROG with the Mobile XG series. However, given how the current gen model has a 5090 mobile in it, it isn't going to be cheap. I mean, it's not even out yet. And besides, I kind of don't want to give Asus any of my money, but that's for unrelated reasons. And sure, while you can get previous generations models of the Mobile XG for pretty cheap on eBay, the issue is that they use a proprietary connector that only makes them compatible with some specific Asus laptops rather than just using USB like any other normal person would. So they have pretty much just manufactured e-waste there. Meaning that for better or worse, this is the best solution right now. And sure, while there are rumors of an eGPU 5060, even a desktop version of one of those would just never perform as well as the 7800M right here. Then there's also the price. This thing is going to cost you $1,000. I don't think I have to tell you that's kind of a lot for a mobile GPU, but I guess you don't have to buy an additional dock for all of your additional ports in your laptop, so that's something, I guess. But still, the main point of it is just to make a laptop that doesn't have discrete graphics actually usable in anything that uses GPU acceleration of any kind, be it gaming or video editing. And I guess just by the virtue of having no competition right now, it does the job all right. So if you want to get it yourself, then our links to it will be down in the video description below, where you're just going to find our Patreon, because I need to make my money back on this somehow. Plus huge thanks to Gavin Burns, Tristan Rage, Ella Vroniak, Balish Voka, Patrick Harrison, not a pseudonym, Meg Sumner, and Shane Allcroft. But anyway, that's not it, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then remember to subscribe, like, whatever, and I'll see you all in whatever I make next. Goodbye everyone, goodbye.